as you know, we're doing something that nobody ever thought was possible to do. Our military is the best. It's the most powerful in the world, and they're hitting them very hard. This is 47 years of abuse and killing lots of people, killing and maiming lots of people. What is it, Peter?
What more do you need to do militarily for this operation to end?
More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
A new report says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As Commander-in-Chief, do you take responsibility for that?
That is what?
As Commander-in-Chief, do you...
For what?
For the strike on the school in Iran. A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about that.
Are you talking to the CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use this straight-up formula?
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should. I think they should use this. In my opinion, look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone. It's bottom of the sea.
President, how do you have they laid any mines in the Strait of Hormuz?
We don't think so.
Is Senator Thune listening to you when you say you want to pass the Save America Act? He says there aren't the votes to do it right now. What's your response?
Well, he's got to be a leader, you know? If he's a leader, he's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID, and it's voter... You have to be able to be a citizen to vote. It's called citizenship. And we're also adding in no men playing in women's sports, no transgender mutilization of our children, and no mail-in ballots, fake mail-in ballots. We have none of that, except in the case of the military, etc. I would say it is the Save America Act. It's the most popular bill I think I've ever put before Congress.
Can you declare victory in this war if the supreme leader remains the Ayatollah's son?
I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to comment. But I will tell you, I just spoke with various countries, the leaders of various countries. You'll have a list. And they said they've never seen anything like it. We have, and I built it during my first term, and I used it. I didn't realize I was going to use it this much, but we have the greatest military in the world by far. Nobody close.
About a domestic terrorist?
No.
We're not invited to the Shield of the Americas. Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia were not invited to the Shield of the Americas. Why was that? And could they come in the future to the event?
I think they were invited. Maybe they didn't come. I think they were. I get along very well with all of them.
In Iraqi parliament, student, member slogan, "Take to America, take to Israel." What is your response to them? What is your message for Iraqi government?
What did he say?
Most of you have never been to dinner with me or gone to a restaurant, but what he just said, Robin has heard me say literally 1,000 times. What did they just say? I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. And I'm sorry, to me, that was so funny. It was so authentic. I don't even know what the hell you're saying. It reminded me very quickly of the Andrew Dice Clay comedy routine. If you don't know the language, get but he just said it. What?
In Iraqi parliament, slogan, "Date of America, Date of Israel." Member of the parliament.
death to Israel. What's your response?
That's not a nice question.
I don't even know what this guy's saying. Caroline, what can you interpret here? Is there subtitles? What the hell is this guy saying? I'm surprised the media hasn't gone, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Yeah, he said that. I don't know what the hell you're saying, bro.
Mr. President, did Spain give in after you told them that you would commerce ties with them? Are they cooperating with the United States? Spain.
No, they're not. I think they're not cooperating at all. Spain, I think they've been very bad. Very bad. Not good at all. We may cut off trade with Spain.
You guys all trade with them?
I don't know what Spain's doing. They've been very bad to NATO. They get protected. They don't want to pay their fair share. And they've been that way for many years, actually. Let me give you the good news. Let me give you the good news. The people of Spain are fantastic. The leadership, like you. The leadership, not so good.
Lebanon is under attack, and Hezbollah is making dangers for the Lebanese, especially the Lebanese Christians. What is your message for Lebanon?
Well, we're working on it very hard. We love Lebanon. We love the people of Lebanon. And we're working very hard. We got to get rid of the Hezbollah. Has been a disaster for many years.
All right, so hold on a second. So as he's coming from greeting people and now he's going through the press line, the press that was on the far end of the line, which whoever had this camera then had to run and set up on where he's headed. So you're going to see some herky-jerkiness for a couple of minutes. No, not a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds.
What do you know about that?
About what?
About the new oil refinery going up in price?
Oh, it'll be great. It's going to be the greatest anywhere in the world. There's never been anything like it. It's great that it's going up in Texas. You know, it's very hard to get refineries done. This will be like nothing else ever built. It's a great thing. Thank you for that question. Well, look, we've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force. We've knocked out all of their anti-defense. We've taken out 60 mine boats, 59 mine boats, which nobody has ever seen anything like it. We have the greatest military in the world by far, not even close. But you know what? They've inflicted 47 years worth of damage to the world, and now they're paying a big price.
Mr. President, are you willing to withdraw the U.S. from Iran, even if they have not turned over and allowed the U.S. to seize their remaining?
I'm not going to answer that, but we have hit them harder than virtually any country in history has been hit, and we're not finished yet.
Arizona, why did the FBI see records there?
That's not me. That was the feed at Chopper Talk. Chopper Talk is what they call this, and it's the gaggle that they have outside of the helicopter.
I need you to clean up.
Just so you know, obviously, the closer they get to the helicopter, the more the noise is, which drives these people, bat poop crazy because they can't get the right sound. So it's not me, and it's really not their fault. They place them out there by Marine One, and they expect them to, try to get as much news as you can. I often wonder if this is on purpose. I mean, I know they have to put Marine One there in case they have to ever evacuate him, but you would think that, why do you guys start it up yet? Whatever, I'm not a helicopter pilot.
Mr. President,
Paying a big price now for 47 years of killing. They kill you. You have relatives, we all have relatives. What they've done, and now they're begging.
America First Refining opened up its brewery last year.
Yeah.
Why did you take a big deal? What did it happen under the president?
Not have happened under different presidents. None of this would have happened under different presidents. Just so you know, ready? A year ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country in the world.
Thank you, Mr. President. You got your question.
That last guy with those two bags might be the most important guy besides the president on that helicopter. He and the pilot. All right, so as you heard, the press, I guess he has to as a president. He has to take questions from the press, but they don't seem to have any. They don't get on the America. I mean, even Peter Doocy doesn't seem like he's the America First guy. None of them care. All they want to do is chase headlines. Hey, so did you blow up all the babies? I don't know. Somebody reported that you blew up all the kids in the schoolhouse. I don't have that report right now. What do you expect them to say? Yeah, we blew those kids to bits. How about a question? What was inside that schoolhouse? Do you know? Do you know if there was anybody stationed below the schoolhouse? What data do you have as to what happened? How do you know? Well, there's a report. Well, there's been lots of reports. Lots and lots and lots of reports. There's a report out today that they're going to fire drones into California. Is it true? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past these idiots, but it's a report. So from there, he obviously flew to Ohio, and he then landed and went to this company, and he did a little bit of speaking there.
So some of the best and brightest colleagues have come up with the center.
Well, it's a great company. We were just talking about how the expansion's going, and a lot of expansion because of Trump, I have to say. But I think the 1 year depreciation is great. 1 year expensing, everyone loves it. And we did a little excursion. We had to take this little few weeks of excursion, but it's been incredible. Our military is unbelievable, the job they're doing. I would say, to put it mildly, way ahead of schedule. We've knocked out their Navy, their military in all forms. We've knocked out just about everything there is, including their leadership. Twice. We knocked out twice their leadership, and now they have a new group coming up. Let's see what happens to them. But 47 bad years we suffered with them, not only us, the rest of the world. And we're doing our job. So we had to take an excursion, but it's doing well. The market's holding up well. I figured we'd be hit a little bit, but we were hit probably less than I thought, and we'll be back on track in a pretty short while. Prices are coming down very substantially. Oil will be coming down. That's just a matter of war. That happens you can almost predict it. I would say it went up a little bit less than we thought. It's going to come down more than anybody understands. Do you have any questions, Peter?
Yes. You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. For them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought. But think of it, they had thousands of missiles, 8,000 missiles. We got many of them before they got to launch. They have drones all over the place. We got many. Now we're knocking out the drone plants, as you know, going fast. They started talking about mines, so we hit 28 mine ships as of this moment, 28. Using the same weapon, the exact same weapon that we use against the drug dealers in the water. We have, as an example, we had tremendous drugs pouring in through the water, through the sea, and now we have almost none. It's down 97% through water. Now we'll do it through land. Land is easier than water. But this is a great honor being here. It's a great company. I've known it for a long time, and you have done a fantastic job, and I'd like to congratulate you.
Thank you. It's the colleagues' work.
See the colleagues. Talks about it himself. It's a new form of business. It's everybody. My associates, my colleagues, what about people that just work for you? No, right? They're colleagues.
25 years old.
That's why it's doing so well. Congratulations. Great company. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great honor. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Gentlemen, we thought it would just be good to introduce some of our best
let's go.
People in our team and have you have a chance to say hello to
Well, let me have a picture with them. How about that?
That's
great. Come on, Peter, take a picture. Come on. Let's go. Let me get alongside of some really good-looking people. All right, let's go. There you go.
Surprisingly, that guy, well, I should say unsurprisingly, he doesn't look worried. Doesn't look worried whatsoever. Has a completely confident outlook about him, which I absolutely love. A couple things I want to cover for you real quick here. Let me bring this up. There we go. As of right now, because now it's pertinent information on a daily basis, oil is at 86.49 today. Over the last 5 days, we can click the button here. We should be able to click the button here. Hold on, let me refresh. And now we click the button, and you can see it has completely, well, I won't say flatlined, but it has dropped precipitously from that big spike that I believe was artificially induced. Pretty crazy. So the oil prices are indeed back down. I won't say back down to normal, but almost their pre-war levels. Let me cover with you a couple of things that President Trump posted. He posted this. It says, I am on my way to the great state of Ohio, which I love and won three times, to visit Thermo Fisher, a pharmaceutical manufacturing company that is investing $2 billion in U.S. manufacturing and bringing great paying jobs back to Ohio from overseas. That's where I believe he just was. Thermo Fisher is doing this because of my American first trade policy, most specifically tariffs, which charge other countries for access to our markets while protecting our important industries and strengthening our supply chains. Thanks to my most favored nation deals, prescription drug prices are also coming down by a lot, and I have asked Congress to codify these policies. After that, I will be heading to the wonderful Commonwealth of Kentucky. So that was the first stop Justy did at in Ohio at that event. Then this is where he's headed next. He's basically going to Thomas Massey's, not Thomas Massey State, not Thomas Massey City. He's going to Thomas Massey's district. He wants to destroy Thomas Massey, the Republican Party's worst congressman ever. Thomas Massey is attacking great new SEAL hero Ed Gowrine, who is running against him in primary, saying that Ed became an independent for a period of time long ago. The fact is, many people do that, but Ed still supported me and strongly, which is far more than Massey ever did. And he just goes on and talks about Massey. But again, he comes back to the Save America Act and how it's important that we get this thing passed, which it doesn't look good. And I think he expects that. I think he definitely expects that's going to fail when John Thune brings it up for a vote, which is exactly, here's what's going to happen. John Thune is not going to break the filibuster. Not going to do it. Excuse me. So he's going to put it on the floor to a vote, knowing it needs 60 votes. So the vote's going to be probably 50, I'm going to predict 54 to 46. I believe John Fetterman will vote for it. Or it may end up being 53 to 47 with Fetterman crossing one side and then maybe Rand Paul being stupid crossing onto the other side. Not really sure. But what it's going to do is going to allow cover for the rhinos. What do I mean here? By putting it on the floor without breaking the filibuster, you're walking into a loss. It's dead on arrival. It's no way it's going to pass. And so to keep face, every single Republican can vote yes, knowing full well it's never going to pass. And so they can then campaign and do whatever they want for the midterms and say, I voted for it. We just couldn't get it done. When inside, they probably never wanted it to happen anyway. But no one's going to know because when it fails, it's just going to be along party lines, 53, 47. That's it. But it saves rhinos from having to defend themselves on the other side. It's insidious. The entire way our government is being set up and how this thing is being set up to fall is completely insidious. They're not going to pass it. Absent nuking or stopping the sit-down filibuster, it's not going to pass. I'll break it to you right now. You can get mad for the next 3 or 4 days until next week when they bring it up, but I guarantee you, without breaking that filibuster in one way, shape, or another, it will not pass. And every Republican will go, I voted for it. I did everything I could. We just couldn't get it done. And it gives them all, including Thune and Murkowski and Collins, it gives them cover to run the midterms by saying, we got to do something about illegal immigration. If only there was something we could do. And people will fall for it. The Panicans, the Black Pillars, they'll all fall for it and say, see, nobody wants it, even though 90% of Americans want this done. Trust me, I've not been too clairvoyant. I'm not bringing out a crystal ball, but this I can guarantee. This I can say with complete certainty that these people are going to fall on the sword and say they tried their best and it just couldn't happen. So at this point, I think President Trump's going to have to do what I told you last night. He said, one way or the other, there will be voter ID come this election. So if they're not going to do it legislatively, how is he going to do it? He's going to do an executive order, obviously, which they will go run into court as soon as possible. But then there has to be some way for him to enforce it. How is he going to enforce the executive order that says you got to have voter ID to vote? And as I've been looking, maybe you guys have been looking too, there is only one way. There's only one way. I covered it last night, and I'll tell you right now, some way, shape, or form of the Insurrection Act, he is going to have to get it done. No choice. And I hope you guys are with him. All right, so before we get into the rest of the show, what's going on here is President Trump they've got the feed up already, so he may be, hope he's not early, we'll see. I want to tell you what's going on tonight. Hold on one second. Let me put this up real quick because I've got to show something here. Never mind. they'll have to wait. In any event, tonight, barring any confusion or conflict, tonight's show, again, I'm like doing the smaller shows, the quick smaller shows. Hope you guys like them. But tonight I'll probably spend an hour with Alpha Warrior. So give me a second. I got to take a call here.
Yeah. Well, the president has a big meeting coming up with President Xi, and clearly a lot has changed since that meeting was scheduled. We saw what happened in Venezuela. Maduro is now downtown here in New York City, and we see this shakeup and the end of Ayatollah Khomeini, and we'll see what the future holds in Iran in terms of the regime. Kevin, thank you very much. Great to see you. Live shot here in Hebron, Kentucky, where the president is going to talk about lower prices and bigger paychecks as we head into.
We are, as you guys know, we're just about ready to sell that investment property, and that was somebody calling from the property. Sorry. That's if my wife calls or something like that, I got to take it. Anyway, I'm going to be talking to Alpha Warrior tonight at 8 o'clock. I'll probably go on, depending how long this runs, maybe 7:30 or so, but he's going to be on at 8 o'clock. We got a big show. If he can make it and he shows up, it'd be great. We're going to talk all about the panicans, the black pillars, and he posted something. How do you tell someone's a faggot? And it's not the word you think when I said faggot. You know what we're talking about, fake MAGA, faggot. That's the term. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. That should be quite entertaining. Hope you guys can join us in that. I'd love to have you tonight. So lastly, if it seems like I'm a little bit on edge, is because I showed up here today and there's no air conditioning, and I'm like, it's hot. It's 94 degrees outside, so bless me. All right, today's sponsor. The next pandemic, according to the experts, isn't a virus. It's antimicrobial resistance, or when antibiotics no longer work. But here's what they're not talking about. The real damage isn't just resistant bacteria. It's what decades of antibiotic overuse does to your gut. Antibiotics don't just kill the bad bacteria, they wipe out the good ones too. When your gut microbiome gets thrown off, everything starts to break down. Immune function, metabolism, inflammation control, even your brain health. And the most powerful way to rebuild that kind of microbial diversity is through a century-old fermented food, kimchi. Kimchi contains over 900 unique strains of beneficial probiotics that are naturally antimicrobial, which means it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and antiparasitic. Because it's not about killing everything, it's about restoring balance in your body. That's exactly why Brightcore created Kimchi One. It delivers the full microbial ecosystem of fresh kimchi. It's pretty good too. Make your poop. Tell you that as well. And it comes in convenient daily capsules, cold processed, dried to deliver all the nutrition of natural fermented kimchi. If you want to strengthen your gut, support your immune system, and rebuild microbial diversity the right way, you can go ahead and get yourself some Kimchi One. It's pretty simple. They've got a special deal for people here in the Fanfare community. You can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link in the description and get 25% off your entire order, or for an even better deal, you can call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off your order and free shipping. Give them a call now at 888-418-6738. All right, everybody. The crowd is waiting. I knew it was going to be a rally. I knew it wasn't just an appearance. It's a rally. We got a full-blown rally getting ready to happen. All right, talk to you guys real quickly.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I'm Admiral Brad Cooper here at United States Central Command, where I'm leading the forces executing Operation Epic Fury. First, I want you to know that we continue to keep the families of our fallen heroes and our wounded teammates in our thoughts and prayers. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the families of the 50,000 American servicemen and women deployed in and around the Middle East. I'm grateful for your selfless sacrifice, and I know that Americans across the country hold you in their hearts. Let me start by offering my overall assessment of Operation Epic Fury. In short, U.S. forces continue delivering devastating combat power against the Iranian regime. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. U.S. combat power is building, Iranian combat power is declining. And we remain centered on very clear military objectives in eliminating Iran's ability to project power against Americans and against its neighbors. Every day, we're striking hard at Iranian ballistic missile and drones. To date, we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including more than 60 ships using a variety of precision weapon systems. Just yesterday, we had strike waves nearly every hour from different locations and directions going into Iran. We also took out the last of 4 Soleimani-class warships. That's an entire class of Iranian ships now out of the fight. I'd characterize our strikes as being unpredictable, dynamic, and decisive. Since the first 24 hours of this campaign, Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks have dropped drastically. But it's worth pointing out that Iranian forces continue to deliberately target innocent civilians in Gulf countries while hiding behind their own people as they launch attacks from highly populated cities in Iran. Of course, forces executing Operation Epic Fury aren't just defending against Iranian threats. We are methodically dismantling them by hitting Iranian missiles and drones, as we also strike their defense industrial base. Just last night, our bomber force hit a large ballistic missile manufacturing facility, as an example. So it's not just about what's shooting at us today, it's also about eliminating the threat in the future. Now, let me show you a few of the results from the tremendous efforts by America's joint force. Here, you see an Iranian Jamran-class warship, a large patrol ship, a drone smuggling vessel, and 4 other surface combatants docked at Chabahar port in the Gulf of Oman the day before we launched Operation Epic Fury. Here's the same pier 4 days later, all ships taken out of action. This Bayandar-class surface ship was hit and rolled on its side. Here's another example. Here you see 2 Iranian surface combatants docked at an Iranian naval base near the Strait of Hormuz, just hours into the campaign. And here's what they looked like 3 days later, engulfed in flames after we struck them with a precision weapon. For years, the Iranian regime has threatened commercial shipping and U.S. forces in international waters. Our mission is to end their ability to project power and harass shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. From the air, we've achieved a concentration of air power with back-to-back waves of advanced fighters creating constant pressure on the enemy every single day. Our dominance is not a solo effort, it's a testament to the strength of our ironclad alliances. We continue to coordinate closely and effectively with Israel in this very large operation, and we are also coordinating and serving side by side with all of our partners in the Middle East. We're on a path to eliminating Iran's ability to threaten Americans and our friends, and we are achieving this through a combination of lethality, precision, and rapid innovation. Let me highlight a few examples, at least the ones that aren't classified, of how we are achieving lethal effects in entirely new ways.
Before he gets into that, one of the things I wanted to point out, for my own edification, just me, and I'm looking at this and I'm seeing how all of this is taken out, and I don't think enough people are thinking about the truth. The truth is, if we indeed, as it appears, have complete air supremacy, not superiority, if we own the skies, how can any single reporter, any single politician think that Iran could have any chance of winning? If you can't get a plane up in the air and you've got nobody coming to help you with any planes, how in the hell can they possibly win? Drones? Oh, they're going to strike some drones. They're going to hit some things. But I'm talking about eventuality of the end of winning. You're basically got a pea shooter. And every time you send one of these things off, they're going to blow it to hell. That statement alone, the statement alone that there's no more boats, there's no more airplanes, should tell every single one of you, we're not winning. It's basically over. At this point, it's the fourth quarter. They're down by 50 and they're launching Hail Marys. There's no possible way that they can possibly be considered any sort of ability to win this. It's just not mentally possible. You can't sail. You got no subs. You got no boats. You got no airplanes. You got no allies coming to help you. If you think of it that way, well, there's no way they can win. They can cause some problems. They can blow a couple things up, but there's no way they can win. And that's the thing I take away from this, and when I take away from listening to Pete Hegseth, is it's only a matter of time.
First, our warfighters are leveraging a variety of advanced AI tools. These systems help us sift through vast amounts of data in seconds, so our leaders can cut through the noise and make smarter decisions faster than the enemy can react. Humans will always make final decisions on what to shoot and what not to shoot, and when to shoot. But advanced AI tools can turn processes that used to take hours and sometimes even days into seconds. I continue to be impressed with all the branches of the U.S. military. The entire team is performing superb.
I want to stop there. There have been many people here in the fanfare community who don't like AI. And so that statement he just made is way above the heads of people who don't understand AI. If he can take decisions and manipulations and targeting and take it what used to take hours into seconds, if you don't understand how the AI is doing that, then you're not going to understand the kind of prowess these guys are showing and just evaporating everything Iran has.
Strike operations from our joint force continue, as I've said. I assess that we are clearly exercising air superiority over vast swaths of Iran. We have the most integrated air defense umbrella in the Middle East, and our defensive operations from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Space Force teams are performing magnificently. A note about the Space Force. Our space superiority has been a critical enabler to this fight. Unseen by the world, the Space Force is doing two things. First, they're degrading Iranian capability, and second, they're helping to protect American forces. And I'll have to leave it right there.
I'll have to leave it right there. Freaking laser beams from outer space.
All told, despite this incredible progress, make no mistake, we remain highly vigilant. And I just could not be prouder of our Operation Epic Fury team, and I know the American people share that same pride. To all our warriors out there, please keep up the great work and Godspeed. Thanks so much.
I think he spent a total of, 4 seconds on the Space Force. You realize it's 2026, it's March 2026, and few people even know what the hell the Space Force is. Fewer people even know its capabilities. When that whole dust-up happened with Elon and people were talking about that, obviously there was still a lot of work being done in the background. That might have been an entire charade. The Space Force, which Trump put together, he can't even talk about what they're doing. I had heard from a guy in close to the development of stuff is as a drone or something goes up, within seconds, something in the laser or satellite can adjust and find the coordinates of what shot up, kill what shot up, and then blow up where it got shot from. And some of these people can do the stuff with drones in as much as a pickup truck, and they're boom, done. They can't win. They can cause problems. They can make people get hurt, but they can't win. And anybody telling you otherwise is lying to you. All right, let's continue.
We are right now waiting on the inflation data in seconds. Let's get to Cheryl right now with the CPI. Cheryl.
Everything coming in as expected. Everything, every line. Month over month, a gain of 0.3% expected. Year over year, a gain of 2.4%. That's the annual rate. Again, year over year as expected. That's also the previous number we got for January CPI. Core, 0.2%. So the upside as expected. 2.5%. Year over year as expected. Energy prices coming in, a component of this, up 0.6%, 0.6%. That was month to month. Food prices, 0.4%. The energy index, again, gasoline only going up 0.8%. New vehicles was flat. We saw the same story in January. Remember, these are backward looking numbers before the war in Iran.
So the economy is moving along. The economy is purring. The panicans, they're wrong. Now, obviously, the numbers from last month don't have anything to do with what's going on now because those numbers won't come out until next month. But besides the war, everything is purring along perfectly as planned. And then you get people who say, I'm not seeing it. That depends on where you live. California and some of these, Washington State. Let me tell you about Washington State real quick. This is just absolutely phenomenal. As bad as things are in some of these blue states, they're going to get progressively worse because they want them to get progressively worse. This happened in the state of Washington. They decided that they were going, and gleefully passes a state income tax to go on top of your federal income tax. And it says here, breaking, Washington State passes their first ever income tax. Everybody else is understanding prosperity except people in blue states. Incomes over $1 million a year would be taxed at 9.9%. That's over and above the federal income tax. Married couples share a single $1 million exemption. So if combined incomes are more than $1 million, you're getting taxed. This will obviously eventually extend beyond millionaires. And I want to make sure I break that out. A husband and a wife combined, she makes $500, he makes $500. Oh, they got $1 million income in their household. How many of you think those people who make $500,000 a year are millionaires? You see, because the Democrats try to paint things as though people who make $1 million gross are millionaires. Millionaire is based upon your net worth. After your liabilities, what do you have left? So if you make $1 million and you're paying out, 30% or more in taxes, now you're making $700,000. Now you figure you got a house, you got a car, you got a boat. Those are all liabilities that come off of your net worth. If your house is appreciated, then you add it to that, your net worth. Which I'm not saying you need to feel bad for people who make $1 million, but let me break this to you. People who can make $1 million aren't going to give you their money. Are not there, because if they've made or have a salary of $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, if they're making enough money, they are astute enough to know, I got options. I'm not going to deal with this. And so the guy who does the All In podcast, Shamath, here's what this tax like this does. One, it excites people with zero agency and infinite envy. Beware of these people. I don't want to know no people like that. People who have not achieved, people who have not succeeded, who have, as he calls it, infinite envy. Yeah, you got too much. We need to do something about that. Number two, and this is what's most important, it will keep middle-class people firmly in the middle, with no real chance of getting wealthy if they stay in Washington State or, at this point, some parts of New York State. It should be clear that this is the strategy. They want to keep people down, because anybody with aspiration and opportunity and can execute aren't going to stay there. So you're going to have a permanent middle class. I love this term, learned helplessness of the electorate will keep Washington State's current elected officials in office. Basically, you're dependent upon the government. 3, it will never allow the upwardly mobile of building any assets or real wealth unless they move. You can't do it. If you start to hit that upper level, they're going to take it from you. You gotta go. Capping the American dream is a dystopian and malevolent scheme. It cannot be a valid strategy, but unless droves of middle and upper middle class people leave Washington, this strategy will win. And look at these people. Just look on their faces. They are so happy. So happy we get to take your money. It's been a dream. I cannot believe this actually happened. We've gotten to the point where I can take more of your money. I don't want to know these people. I don't ever want to shake hands or be in the same room with people who find it gleeful, joyful to take something from somebody else. Wasn't earned. No sense of accomplishment. They were able to pull enough votes together. Man, this is freaking awesome what we're doing. We're stealing people's money. And the problem is they think that's a winning strategy. It's not a winning strategy, because this is what happens. And we see it every single day down here. Fleeing for Florida, Starbucks founder Howard Schultz announces he's leaving his longtime home of Seattle and moving to Florida, as Washington State Democrats slam business owners with a brand new income tax. The billionaire coffee mogul is ditching the Pacific Northwest after 44 years to start a new adventure in the tax-friendly Sunshine State. Schultz joins a growing number of business leaders and wealthy residents abandoning blue states for new homes in red states like Florida. Now, the only thing we got to make sure is that you don't leave taking that same stupid ideology that pushed you out and come down here to Florida and act the same way. And by the way, he's not just leaving Washington himself. They're taking Starbucks with them. Starbucks is going to be re-headquartered in Tennessee. As these businesses and wealthy individuals flee, they're taking that tax base with them, which makes it even harder for these areas to keep. They're going to keep taxing because they have to make up the people who are fleeing. It's a never-ending cycle. And down here, which so many people have come and visited, and they're like, it's a different world down here. Yeah, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying how can you come from a place like New York, New Jersey, California, Washington State and come down here and see the contrast. It's like, whoa, you guys can do all of this? Yeah. How much does it cost you? Nothing. What do you mean? There's no state income tax. We're close to having no property tax. We pay a consumption tax of, I don't even know. Nobody even cares. 6.5%, 7%. That's it. You get taxed on what you buy, not what you earn. And somehow, everything works fine down here. So somehow, if you call 911, the police show up. Somehow, if you need a doctor, they're there. Do you know how many doctors down here have gone to what's called concierge service? If you're not familiar with concierge service, there's doctors down here who's like, you know what? We're not taking any insurance. We don't need the hassle. And a lot of our clientele is like, we'd rather just pay. Just tell me how much it is and we'll just pay. And that's becoming a booming business down here. Concierge medical service. Now, I turned 65. You know, one of my sponsors is a Chapter. And if something, I had a backache a while, I just went to the spine doctor and said, how much? And I could not believe that the spine doctor took x-rays, looked at my lower back, did everything, sent away for an MRI, and they said it's $400. I'm like, oh, what? It works. Money works. Money knows how to make more money. The left just doesn't get it. The left just thinks that, you know, it's okay to just take from other people and enslave the middle class. Got no regrets, man. Seriously, no regrets. And that's why it's so important to me to talk prosperity with you guys. Because one, I know what it takes to make it. Two, I'm trying to give you advance warning. It's not going to work in some of these cities, some of these blue states. It just can't. Everything they do, it can't work. So be prepared. All right, let's continue.
The latest now on President Trump's moves to investigate his false claims about the 2020 election.
You see that right there? You see how snide that is? I try to show you that often because then you realize you're not listening to news. You're listening to propaganda, packaged as news, with a smile and with a suit. And a lot of people, it just washes over them. They might be doing something else, and they look down and they hear what he just said, and they don't realize they've just been lied to. Listen to that again. He said it so quickly. Just want you to hear this. Hold on.
The latest now on President Trump's moves to investigate his false claims about the 2020 election and
his false claims. They have a DOJ federal investigation, but George Slopadopoulos just said it's fake. There's nothing to it. But that's not the only statement. They say it through this entire piece.
Potentially interfere in the midterm elections. Arizona, the new focus. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has the story. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And this is an unusual move. We are learning this morning that the Department of Homeland Security has opened an investigation into the 2020 election results in Arizona. This particular division is typically charged with investigating drug smuggling and human trafficking. Arizona's Democratic Attorney General calling it an unserious investigation. DHS said they would not comment on any active investigations, but this is just the latest effort by the Trump administration to try to relitigate the 2020 election. A Republican state lawmaker also says the FBI has issued a subpoena for information about the 2020 voting results in Maricopa County, which is the largest and most influential county in Arizona. And then just months ago, FBI agents raided election offices in Georgia, seizing ballots and voting records from the 2020 election. To be clear here, Joe Biden won the 2020 election by...
That's not news. To be clear here, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. To be clear, for all you nuts out there who may follow Trump, you need to be clear here. Because I don't think you understand. This is just completely frivolous. It's a waste of time. It's false. That's not news. The news is the DOJ has opened an investigation. The DOJ, by nature of them opening an investigation, says there might be some smoke behind that fire, or fire behind that smoke, rather. By saying Joe Biden actually won, which they quickly have said for, years, they're trying to stop you from even doubting it. No, if you doubt it, you're one of those, Q people. You're crazy. He won. Accept it. Move on.
7 million votes and the Electoral College 306 to 232. But 6 years later, the president is still pushing false claims that the election.
The president is still pushing false claims. You know what? When I see this, what it tells me, maybe it's what it tells you. It should tell you, what are you worried about? If it's false claims, if it's completely frivolous, if, Joe Biden definitely won, what are you worried about? Why are you concerned about it? And it gets worse here. Not worse, but just continues.
Was stolen when it was not Michael.
Yeah, numbers aren't going to change 6 years later. All right. Thank you so much for that.
He keeps saying it was stolen, but it was not, Michael. Yeah, numbers aren't going to change 6 years later. That's not news. You know what news is? News is when you look at this and you see this. Voter fraud is a felony. FBI secretly seizes election records from Maricopa County as voting probe expands. The FBI is expanding its criminal probe into suspected election irregularities, secretly obtaining a large tranche of voting records from Maricopa County, Arizona's largest county. With a recent grand jury subpoena, multiple people familiar with the probe told Just the News. This is for John Solomon. That first paragraph makes what ABC News just said completely crazy. Hey, man, there's a grand jury, and the grand jury issued subpoenas. That's the news. The news is, hey, after this period of time, the grand jury convened, which is usually people, who live there, and they were shown stuff, and they were like, yeah, sign a subpoena, go search. Did they mention in the entirety of that piece that there was a grand jury subpoena? I'll answer for you. No. Nope, not at all. You'd never know. Continues. The sources who spoke only on condition of anonymity because of the secrecy of the grand jury probe said FBI agents are receiving gigabytes of electronic election data from Maricopa County about a month after the Bureau first disclosed an investigation into election irregularities by raiding a warehouse near Atlanta and seizing ballots from the 2020 election conducted in Fulton County, Georgia's largest metropolis. They didn't even mention that. They didn't mention that there was a raid in Fulton County and that they've grabbed all this stuff. Why not? It's news. It's true. Nothing fake. Nothing frivolous. It actually happened. Oh, it's 6 years later. You can't change the numbers. What's going on here? Now we're going to Arizona. The subpoenas comes 5 years after the GOP-led Arizona State Senate conducted a lengthy investigation into the 2020 election and concluded there were significant irregularities. Wait, what? There was a 2020 investigation and it was concluded to have significant irregularities? My, George Papadopoulos didn't know that. Or did he? More recently, the Bureau was alerted to a report filed by Republican and Democrat election observers who believe they observed irregularities in November 2024 at a warehouse in Arizona where blank and filled out absentee ballots were observed in the same location, according to sources. Congress has never released the report from the staffers who were sent to observe the 2024 election in Maricopa County, which includes Arizona's largest city of Phoenix. They never released it. See, there's a lot more to this SAVE Act and what President Trump is trying to get over the finish line than what people are seeing on the surface. I believe all of this ties together. I believe that the investigation in Fulton County, the investigation in Maricopa County is going to come out very soon. How soon? I don't know. Next month, 2 months, 3 months, probably within 90 days, because it's going to destroy the Democrat mantra, oh, voter fraud's not that big of a deal. And what did the guy say yesterday, Dick Durbin? 20 years we had 24 people vote who weren't supposed to. 24 people in 20 years. What happens when this stuff comes out? What happens when all this stuff comes out? House Administration Committee Chairman Brian Stile recently hinted at the significance of the report in an interview with John Solomon. In a quote, we're digging back through these reports that were submitted by our election observers that were deployed across the country. This is where working hand in glove with other federal government agencies is important. Now, you understand, everybody who talked about the 2020 election, even if you talked about it here, you got community noted, you got a big banner, oh no, Joe Biden won the election, and all this kind of stuff. We weren't even allowed to talk about it. I don't know if they'll be mad and let me talk about it now. But it is very, very important, because those who say that that 65 courts threw it out of court, no, they didn't. See, that was just it. There was, just like you're seeing now, and I think this is why some of the stuff had to happen with these injunctions. They said they have to show us. We see now how corrupt the judiciary is. We wouldn't have believed it. Hey, you can't deport this guy. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. Oh, you got to close Alligator Alley. Oh, you can't do that. We would not have believed it. Now, all that stuff that happened, which wasn't an adjudication, they wouldn't even allow it to be provided. You couldn't bring the evidence. Rudy and Sidney Powell and a bunch of other people couldn't even bring the evidence. But differently right now is that this is a DOJ presentation. FBI is garnering all the information, which has these people completely, I'll use the word, discombobulated.
At some airports, 4 hours at some airports, and you wonder why? It's because unscheduled absences among airport security officers have more than doubled since the shutdown. 300 employees have quit.
I mean, they haven't been getting a paycheck. And remember, this is the second round of a shutdown today. So they missed 2 paychecks the first time. I think they've already missed 1 paycheck this time around. Senator Katie Britt, who is normally pretty calm, was quite furious about it. Here she is.
We are now 24, 25 days into a government shutdown with a department that is actually charged with keeping Americans safe. We also know that there is the ability to have increased threats. And the agency, whether it be Coast Guard, TSA, CISA, Secret Service, CBP, and ICE.
Some new reporting on how the shutdown has affected airports. What are you learning?
Yeah, Lindsay, unscheduled absences among TSA officers have more than doubled nationwide since the beginning of this shutdown, according to exclusive data obtained by CBS News from TSA officials. All
right, so I got a question for you. You got an agency called DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Its name implies it is, I don't know, a matter of national security. By its very nature of its name, DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security includes border, it includes Coast Guard. It even includes the Secret Service. So I would bet ICE is funded for another year, so they're okay. But so you're telling me shutting down the airports because you don't get your way. You want to stamp your feet because you don't want the SAVE Act to become law. And you want people put in peril intentionally. This is what I was trying to allude to yesterday, and I'm seeing it get worse every single day. If TSA can't do their jobs, if the Coast Guard can't do their job, if Secret Service can't do their job, because the Democrats are not allowing any of that to be funded, I'd like you to tell me how it's not a matter of national security. I would love for anybody on television or something to come up and say, no, he could never do the Insurrection Act because this isn't a matter of national security. How is it not? If 300 people, I'm done with this. I'm not working for nothing. And they leave. And you got to bring in like the B string to be part of, Secret Service. And you can't like do the Coast Guard stuff, Coast Guard the coast. How is it not a matter of national security? How is it not something that the president should say, my job first and foremost is to protect Americans. I'm going to have to bring in the military. How do you possibly say, no, there's no problem? Oh, that's right. We should wait. There's no imminent danger. We should wait until somebody blows up something. That's the Democrat response. There's no imminent danger. If there's no imminent danger, why do we have TSA? If there's no imminent danger, why the hell people get stripped naked to walk through an airport? Obviously, there's always an imminent danger. It doesn't make any sense. Those of you guys right now thinking, yeah, there's definitely an imminent danger because every time I go to the airport, it's like, take off your belt, take off your shoes, take out your computer. Oh, why do I got to do all this? Because we got to make sure you're not going to blow something up. Oh, so you're concerned I might blow something up. Yeah. What about the other 300 people in line? Oh, yes, all of them too. Isn't that by the very nature an imminent danger? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just asking the questions. I'm going to do a Candace Owen here. Just saying. She might be from aliens or something. But no, this is real. You're stopping the Coast Guard from guarding the coast. You're stopping Homeland Security from securing the homeland. You're stopping Secret Service from being, a Secret Service. But you're trying to tell Americans, no, we just can't do it. These people are playing right into his hands. I don't see how a judge couldn't say, Mr. Trump administration, we don't see an imminent danger. So why don't we get the guard away from your courtroom here? We want you to come in and you can hold your trials, but you ain't getting more guards. Huh? Yeah, there's no imminent danger. Oh, you get death threats. Sorry, they're not imminent. You see, when that shit hits home, people will change. They will change quickly.
Absences climbing in major hubs like New York, Houston, and Atlanta. Now, these internal TSA statistics show the nationwide call-out rate. Unscheduled absences by frontline officers has climbed to an average of more than 6% during the shutdown, compared with roughly 2% before DHS funding lapsed. And absences peaked at nearly 9% nationwide on February 23rd. At some airports, the staffing shortages have been even more severe. For instance, at Houston's Hobby Airport, 53% of officers called out on March 8th, leaving more than half of the scheduled workforce absent. And across the shutdown, several major airports have averaged double-digit absence rates. JFK in New York, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. The agency is also tracking operational hotspots, incidents where TSA...
Let's say you were a, towel around your head or something, and you're one of these, alley snack bar types, and you're sitting in your sleeper cell apartment, or your big sleeper cell house in Minnesota or something, New York, and you hear all this. Hey, Jihad brother. Yeah. You see this? They got no people at the airports. Is he coming out already? Somebody's coming out. Hey, you see the same news that everybody else is watching. Their guard is down. They got no Coast Guard guarding the coast. Oh, let's put some drones in California and blow stuff up because there's no guards guarding the coast. Hey, there's no TSA because they're all walking off the job. They're calling in sick. And people are waiting. Inevitably, you have that many people waiting in line. That means all these people are someplace close to the airport or in the airport, and they have yet to be checked. And they're all carrying bags. Hey, Ahmed, yes, grab a bag. Let's just go stand in line, and no one's going to check us for hours. Well, let's just stroll up there and drop something off. Because nobody's checking in the line. They don't check you till you go through the TSA thing. And it usually isn't 4 hours long. So you've got people standing in line outside around a corner, and you're telling me we don't have an imminent danger. Okay, just checking.
Officials say staffing shortages actually threaten security checkpoint operations. Houston recorded 44, New Orleans 35, Atlanta 32 during the shutdown, and nationwide the highest single day total reached 87 hotspots just 2 days ago. Managers have had to consolidate.
All right, so you look at that, say Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, Austin, and LaGuardia in New York. Hotspots. Is that a euphemism for terrorist problem? Most hotspot incidences, staffing shortages pose threat to operations. So again, if you're sitting back eating a falafel and you see this on the news, hey man, yeah, you see these airports, they're having problems. No, there's no bad guys looking at this going, no bad guys at all. Ashley and the kids are coming down. I won't even say the date right now because I don't want to jinx it. But I'm glad they're not flying through any of those airports. And anybody who's flying through any of those airports right now, you got to be wondering, oh man, hotspots? No TSA? And you're telling me there's no imminent danger, huh? The president can't do anything about it because nothing's happened yet. That's the rationale for Iran. They haven't done anything yet. Okay. So you're going to wait till something happens at one of these 5 airports or another. Yeah, good luck with that.
Reduce screening lanes and all of this contributing to longer security lines.
So TSA says more than 300 workers have left. They've said, I've had it. So could we see more disruptions? Does this have any end soon?
Yeah, Lindsay, internal data shows TSA has lost 305 employees just between February 14th and March 9th. Departures, officials warn, are going to take months, if not years, to replace.
Yeah, you think so? You think it's going to take months or years to replace these people? So you're telling me that airports around the country are hot targets, or hot spots as they called them, and we won't have any new people for a long time. Not my words. She said it. We don't even know how we're going to restaff this place. Oh, okay.
Recruitment happens. Training a new TSA officer typically takes 4 to 6 months before they can work independently.
If I'm President Trump, I'm sitting back and I'm like, is this shit real? Are they really telling us that people are quitting? They've got nobody in the pipeline, no trainees, no TSA Academy, and it's going to take 4 to 6 months to get people trained so that they can actually work to help secure an airport. Is that what they're telling me? Is that what they're telling you? And you're thinking right now, there's no imminent danger. There's no emergency. Man, if I haven't seen something with emergency tendencies, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'll say it again. if there was no imminent emergency, there wouldn't be a TSA. You remember? Some of you guys are old enough when you used to be able to go to the airport. Hey, honey, how you doing? I'm going to go take off now. And you just stroll up and, hey, here's my ticket, and you get on the plane. The good old days. When was America great again? When I didn't have to take off my shoes, my belt, my pants, bend over, spread them, and figure out, what do you got? That's when America was great again. And some of you guys who may have smoked, you see old movies. What's that? You got to lit something on the plane? Besides the fact that you're blowing smoke, you got fire in your hands. That's how we used to do it, man. But now we have TSA, and we got lights that go off in airplanes saying you can't smoke, you can't do anything. You got to sit there, put your seatbelt on. Hopefully the person in front of you don't go too far back, because now the seats aren't even big or anything. Our entire lives changed. When was America great again? When I didn't have to worry about looking at the guy getting ready to come on the plane. That's when America was great again. America was great again when guys just could look at what back then they were called stewardesses and like, oh, hi. And now you got Fluffy. Hi, anything to drink? I'm good, man. I'm really good. But anyway, back to the terror side of things. If there's no imminent danger, all kidding aside, then why do we have a TSA? That would be my opening argument if I have to go to court to defend the Insurrection Act. Oh, there's no imminent danger. Then why the hell are these people here? Oh, that's the answer right there. That proves it. That and the names of the agencies: Homeland Security, Guard the Coast, Coast Guard. But we're supposed to believe everything's fine. Just wait till something happens first.
At a checkpoint, behind the scenes, DHS officials are warning that the longer this shutdown lasts, the greater the risk that more TSA officers quit, worsening staff shortages, turning this short-term crisis into something long-term. And all of this really points to an uphill battle for recruiting and retaining workers for one of the federal government's most visible frontline security jobs. Former TSA Administrator John Pistrol told CBS News that after the 2018-2019 shutdown, TSA lost nearly 1,100 of its officers who resigned because they had to have income and they weren't being paid. And that's really the fear here, that the number will tick up after workers start to miss more and more paychecks.
Yeah, after they miss more paychecks, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And a very special hello, Kentucky. I love Kentucky. I love Kentucky. We won in a landslide. We won by so much. We have the all-time record in this state. But it's great to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with so many proud, hardworking, unbelievable American patriots. Thank you. And we're here today with the men and women of a phenomenal company that has been helping Kentucky grow and prosper for 6 incredible decades. In other words, they've been here for a long time. Verst Logistics. Verst Logistics. Good company. Just met a lot of the people that run it. They're good people. They love you. They love you, actually. If they didn't, I wouldn't be here, probably. I don't think I'd be here. If they didn't love you, I'd walk off this stage right now. With your help, this family-owned business has risen from a small trucking operation into a juggernaut of warehousing, packaging, one of the biggest, transportation, all these big labels they put on. But I'll tell you, America's favorite brands right here, and this has been an unbelievable group of people that built this wonderful company, and I want to thank them very much. It's an honor to be here. And like the people of Kentucky, you do it with skill and precision and pride, using equipment stamped with those beautiful words, made in the USA. Do you remember? Made in the USA. We're putting it all over the place. And we're making more and more things in the USA, more than we ever had. More people are working today in the USA than at any time in the history of our country. And by the way, do we have a great military? The best. Better than any military in the world by far. I didn't know that we're going to have to be showing it off so much, to be honest with you. I built it. In my first term, we built this military, and I didn't know that we'd have to use it quite as much as we're using it, but we're using it well, and there's no better military. There's nobody even close, so we're very proud of it. So we have in this company 2,600 employees, and they pour out their sweat and their soul into shipping the products America knows and loves, and they're doing more business than they've ever done before. And thanks to the record-setting tax cuts that we passed in the great, big, beautiful bill, biggest tax cuts in the history of our country, tax cuts. You know, as I grew up, I'd watch politicians, and I'd always hear that, we're going to cut your taxes, cut your taxes. This is the first group of opponents. It's the first group, the Democrats. They're always saying, we're going to raise your taxes. Historically, a politician has to. Ideally, you're going to follow through. But you have to say, we're cutting taxes. They say, we're going to raise that. They were going to give you, if they won, Kamala and Joe, Sleepy Joe. But they were going to raise your taxes more than any. It was the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. And I kept saying, are they really saying this? I don't know. What do I know about politics? I haven't been doing it that long. But they were going to give you the biggest tax cut. And now again, the midterms are coming. They want to raise your taxes higher than you've ever had before. We have to win. The midterms are going to be very, very important to keep it going. But thanks to the tax cuts, which are record-setting, we passed the great, big, beautiful bill, and I'm pleased to report that Verse Logistics is investing more than $10 million into expanding its operations this year, right here, $10 million. And you're buying brand new tractor trailers and opening up warehouses in 2 additional states, Texas and North Carolina, and that's what it's all about. And that's why we did it. And with the help of our tax cuts, all of those trucks and warehouses and equipment purchases, everything that we're doing, and everything that you see in this country that's being built, you get what's called expensing, meaning a deduction in the first year. 1 year, it's the bit. Now, to a lot of people, that doesn't mean. To me, it means something else. It means jobs. That's why we have so many jobs, the best jobs ever. Perhaps most importantly to the workers here today, I'm pleased to report that the great, big, beautiful bill also delivers no tax on overtime. Whoever thought that was going to happen? That means every extra hour you work, your overtime pay is now 100% tax-free. You have no tax. Remember that when you go and vote, because the Democrats want to end it. So you take home 20 or 30% more to those beautiful children or whoever the hell you're bringing it home to, okay? I don't know who you're bringing it home to. I don't want to know. That's not my business, although it could be interesting. After so many years of politicians who sold out the working men and women of our country, we finally have a president who puts American workers first. With us today are the front row Joes. You know, they have followed me. What are you up to? About 350 rallies, right? 350 rallies. I don't know what the hell they do. I don't know where they get their money, but they follow me a lot. We have a lot of people. They follow, just like a tour, but they're front row Joes. They're like professionals at getting on the front row. Thank you. And there's a lot of them, too. Thank you very much. Great honor. So a short time ago, under a man named Sleepy Joe Biden, has anyone heard of him? Has anyone heard of him? How about Barack Hussein Obama? He went to Jesse Jackson's funeral. He spoke, and it was like a political hit job. And the family of Jesse Jackson got angry as hell at him because they understand they hated each other. You know, he was there. But I loved watching that. That was so. The family goes outside and they start screaming at him. A short time ago, under Biden and his allies in Congress, we were dead as a doornail. We were a dead country, I'll tell you, and it looked like we weren't going to come back. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. This is the hottest country anywhere in the world. Most powerful military. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election, all time. And the typical American's 401k is up by almost $35,000 since I took office. And in 4 years, Joe Biden got less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. So think of this. $1 trillion over a period of much less, over a period of 4 years. We got $18 trillion. And Jake Paul knows what that means. $18 trillion in 11 months, because they haven't calculated the 12th month. So we have 18 trillion in 11 months. Say in a year, what difference does it make compared to substantially less than 1 trillion in 4 years? You would say they didn't do a good job, Jake. I didn't ask Jake who he voted for, but I don't think it was Kamala. I don't think so. I think your whole reputation would be shot if you said, oh, I voted for Kamala. That would be the end of your whole career, Jake. But here in the heartland of America, you're already seeing the results of what we've done. I just came from Thermo Fisher Scientific in Reading, Ohio, right across the way. The great American company that's investing $2 billion in domestic manufacturing, all because of what we've done with the tariffs and with the deductions and all of the other things that we've done. Ford Motor Company, and by the way, we have more jobs in terms of construction. We're building more factories now in this country than at any time in the history of our country. More factories are being built. And Ford Motor Company, a good old staple, has announced a $2 billion assembly plant in Louisville, Kentucky, which will support more than 2,200 Kentucky jobs. And I was with Ford the other day. I was in Detroit, and Bill Ford, the head of it, he had an advantage over everybody else in getting the job, but that's okay. He was born Ford, but he was showing me a plant that was built in like 1914, very old, one of the biggest plants in the country, but one of the oldest. And they were getting ready to shut it down a year and a half ago. And then he heard Trump was running, and he sort of said, let's wait. So they were getting ready to shut it down. It was on minimal time. It was just a question of time, but he said, let's wait. And he waited. And they just announced 2 weeks ago that they're now going to run 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, building the Ford 150. A big difference. It's a big difference. That's a big difference. You shut it down or you run 24 hours a day. And they're doing a good job. Apple, a great company, $2.5 billion to manufacture 100% of the glass for iPhones and Apple Watches right here in Kentucky factories, all being made in Kentucky. And Apple's spending $650 billion on new plants all over the United States. Think of that. Who the hell else could have done this? Nobody else. Nobody else. I say it kiddingly, but I'm actually not kidding. Nobody else could have. He's done a good job, Tim Cook, but $650 billion, think of it. And just 2 days ago, GE Aerospace, they're doing phenomenally, announced a $1 billion investment in American manufacturing, including $115 million right across the river in the Queen City, Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati. So jobs, factories, and new investments are pouring in as they do. We have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a short period of time, including 8,000 brand new construction jobs in Kentucky. Okay? Kentucky. I love the way a real Kentuckian pronounces it, but if I do it, but I love Kentucky. More Americans are working today than any time in history, and that number is going to be, wait till you see the numbers by the end of the year. We did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. It should have been done for 47 years. They've been killing our people. 47 years. 47 years. And I can only say this. They were all prepared. They're very strong. You know, they're going to try and take over the whole Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel. They don't know what the hell hit them, right? They don't know what hit them. They got hit by the American military. They don't know. They say, what the hell is happening? They didn't expect anything like this. To bring down energy costs for American workers and families and businesses like this one, we ended the Green New scam. You know the scam? Greatest scam in American history. Well, maybe the election results of the second election would. I would say what was the greater scam, the Green New scam or the 2020 rigged election? I would say the 2020. I think the election. I think the election, but what difference? But the main thing is, we said, get out and vote. We're going to do it again. And we're going to make it too big to rig. And that's what we did. We got the highest vote in history. We didn't need that big. We made it too big to rig. We terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate where you were mandated. And I like electric cars. I think they're great. I like Elon. I said, Elon, look. Not everybody wants an electric car. And I like him, and it's a great product, everything, but they have to have, we ended the mandate. We ended the mandate. Now you can have gasoline, you can have hybrid, you can have whatever the hell you want, you can have electric. They wanted you to buy an electric car by 2030. There's only one problem, you can't charge it. You ever see a charger? You're driving down the road, you're running a little low, and they say, electric charging plant 150 miles up the road. That's a bad feeling. And we massively increased production of American oil, natural gas, and clean, beautiful Kentucky coal. And we're not allowed in the Trump administration, we're not allowed to use the word coal without preceding it with two words, clean, beautiful. We say clean, beautiful coal. And we had Doug Burgum the other day, Secretary of the Interior, who's great, and Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy. And they were giving a long speech on coal. And I tried to stop them. I was in the audience. They kept saying, clean, beautiful coal, clean, beautiful coal, clean, beautiful. And after about like 40 times, I said, wait a minute, just say coal. It's too much. It's too much. But it's clean, beautiful coal, and it's back, and it's roaring back. You know, it's interesting. China uses a lot of coal. China's very smart. They use coal. What they don't use much of, if at all, are windmills. So they make all the windmills, and they sell that garbage to us. Round and round it goes, keeps losing money. Every time it goes around, it loses $25. That's a lot, you know. And kills a lot of birds, kills them all. You know, if you shoot a beautiful bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years. Windmills kill them by the thousands. Okay, figure that one out. Last year, I took action to save 74 coal power plants from crushing restrictions and regulations that were putting them out of business, that would have forced them to shut down, including 4 plants. We saved right here in Kentucky, and some of the people that work at those plants are here with us now. It's very powerful, and it is now with modern equipment, clean, beautiful, but it's a very powerful fuel. It's very powerful. And if it wasn't China and some of these other big behemoths would not be using it. They use it because it's powerful, very, very powerful. The wind, you know, you're watching television and you want to watch, and your beautiful wife, our First Lady, says, I'm sorry, darling, you can't watch tonight. The wind has gone down and we have... But I want to watch myself on television. I want to watch myself debate. He says, I'm sorry, darling, we have absolutely no energy. There's no wind tonight. What a scam. That's a pretty big scam. That's one of the top. I say that's a top 5. It's about 5 that are real beauties. I also announced a lease agreement for $1.5 billion of private sector uranium enrichment facility in Paducah. Paducah. And as we take decisive action to stop the threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury. Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the best. In the first hour, it was over. But we won. But they gave me a list of names of generals. Sir, you can pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them. Then I see Epic Fury. I said, I like that name. I like that name. And my administration, as you know better than anybody, is also working to keep the oil flowing. It's flowing all over. We knocked out, you know, they want to drop some mines. Very friendly people, mines, so boats blow up. And we knocked out as of, you know, every hour I have to change because they knock them out so fast. I've never seen anything. Think of it. They knocked out 54 ships in 2 days, and they're real ships. In fact, I got angry at my people. I said, are they any good? Yeah, they're warships. I said, why the hell did we kill them? Why didn't we just capture them and use them in our Navy? They said they wouldn't have qualified for that. But I got a little upset with my people. I said, why do we have to knock them? And actually, one of my generals said, sir, it's a lot more fun doing it this way. But we knocked out 58 naval ships. We knocked out their Navy, okay? Let's put it that way. But they also knocked out the mine layers. They call them mine layers. They put mines in the water. Lovely job. Isn't that nice? Blow up ships. And we knocked out 31 of them. And, you know, I was very proud of myself. I said, why didn't you use the weapon that we use on the drugs that come in by sea? Do you know that drugs by sea are down 98%? And I said, that's a hell of a weapon. And they said, well, give it a shot. It worked very well. We've knocked out, I think, 28 or 29, all of them, almost all of them. They'll all be gone. By the time I'm finished speaking, they'll be gone. These people work very fast. But I'm pleased to report that earlier today, the International Energy Agency agreed to coordinate the release of a record 400 million barrels of oil from various national petroleum reserves around the world, which will substantially reduce the oil prices as we end this threat to America and this threat to the world. We don't want to leave early, do we? Huh? We got to finish the job, right? Over the past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed Iran. Tough country. Their air force is gone. Totally gone. That took the better part of about 3 hours. They no longer have radar. They don't have anti-aircraft equipment. They don't have anything. Their missiles are down 90%. Their drones are down 85%. We're blowing up the factories where they're made left and right. And frankly, nobody has ever seen anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like what you're witnessing now, and that can include the original killing of Soleimani and al-Baghdadi, two of the worst killers in the world that I did, as well as Operation Midnight Hammer, where we totally obliterated Iran's nuclear potential. We obliterated it. They don't have nuclear potential. And then after Midnight Hammer, and then we left, we figured that'll be the end of them for a while. But they started again. That's why we got to finish it, right? We don't want to go back every 2 years. And that's because, there'll be some day when you don't have me as president. You'll have perhaps you'll have a weak, pathetic person like we've had in the past, mostly all. Like Barack Hussein Obama, who signed one of the worst deals ever with Iran, where they were going to give up everything. Remember when he filled up a 757 with billions of dollars of cash and sent it to Iran? Billions. People forget that. That's when I realized the presidency is very powerful. When you could put over $1 billion in an airplane and fly it over and give it to a foreign country that's your enemy. How stupid was that? But that deal, the Iran nuclear deal, gave them the right to have a nuclear weapon as of 3 years ago. If I didn't terminate that deal, I terminated it very quickly. If I didn't terminate that deal, they would have had nuclear weapons, and this world would right now be a different place, much different place. Believe me. And then Biden, he came along. He had no clue. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. But what they did was incredible. Everything they did was wrong. Think of it. Afghanistan, Biden, Afghanistan. The most embarrassing day in the history of our country. Embarrassing. 13 dead, but hundreds and hundreds are dead I count both sides. I do. I count both sides, sorry. But hundreds and hundreds of people dead. And instead of leaving from Bagram, they fled. I hate to even say it. There's no reason. We were in there. I was the one. We're going to get out. We're going to get out with strength and dignity. We're pounding the hell out of them. They didn't like Donald Trump, the Taliban. They would do anything I asked them to do. You know that. And this guy comes in, left all the equipment behind. I said, every piece of equipment will be taken out with us. They said, no, it's better to leave the plane. I said, why is it better? Well, I think it's more cost efficient to leave the plane. No. You got a brand new fighter jet, $150 million. You give it a tank of gas, little jet fuel, and you fly it out. They said, sir, I think it's better to leave the plane. These are the exact opposite generals as we have now. Do we love General Raisin Cane? He's great. But oil prices are already coming back down, and it's going to come down, but we're not leaving until that job is finished, and it's going to be very fast. It's going to be very fast, but we're not going to count on having competent presidents. We have to assume we're going to have incompetent ones, like the one we had last time that couldn't walk off a stage. Remember? He'd finish with a speech. The speech would last about 2 minutes. People would come out, not many, like 2 people. And he'd be finished with the speech, and then he could never find his way off the platform. He'd look around over here. There's so many stairs. I have 4 sets of stairs on this platform. Usually they have at least that. He couldn't find, or walking up Air Force One. Now, I know the problem with this, it can happen. You could slip. I could slip. I came downstairs today that was soaking wet. It's a little rainy today. And I have steel stairs, and I'm saying, hey. But I do it very slowly. I grab that thing because nobody cares if you set a speed record. The only thing I admired about Barack Hussein Obama, which was nothing actually, but the only thing is the way he bobbed down. Remember, he'd bob. Hey, you talk about unpresidential. He's bobbing, and I couldn't believe that he made it without at least a noticeable major fall. But Biden was the opposite. Biden couldn't even walk up the stairs. He fell 3 times walking up the. And the world watches that and they don't like seeing it, although they actually do like seeing it because they say, what the hell is going on? Or when he fell at the Air Force Academy, right? And the general was standing there, could have caught him, but he didn't want to drop the paper that he's holding in his hand. So Biden went down for the count. Now, we have a country now that's respected, and we don't play games, and we have the greatest military, and it's so nice to see. It's so nice to see. And they want to get back in office for the midterms, and you can't let them. Did you see that they went to Munich, right? You saw that, right? You saw Gavin Newsom. He admitted that Gavin Newsom. So I think his career is over, okay? Let's get off the teleprompter. Do you mind if I get off the teleprompter for a couple of minutes? Because this is, I have these great speech writers. I drive them crazy because half of the time I'm not. But Gavin Newsom, in an interview, you have a doctor in the house, please? Doctor? Yeah, take your time, please. Take your time. We have all the time. These are great people. They wait so long, hours and hours. They're great people, right? We have all the time, right? Thank you.
And I'm here complaining about no air conditioning. Could be a lot worse. All right, so while they tend to this person, probably heat exhaustion. I don't know if you've ever been to a Trump rally, but you may stand around for 3 or 4 hours before you can even get in. And these people are probably, for those seats, they've probably been there since, I don't know, 12:30 this afternoon.
First
They probably
responders are incredible, by the way.
They probably got there at 12, maybe even earlier. No food, can't bring anything in. And once you're there, you probably don't have anything to drink. So people who are a little bit older, a little bit frail, are going 4 and 5 hours with no food or water. When the rallies I went to down here in South Florida, you couldn't have a rally outdoors without water at least, so they'd have plenty of water. But it looks like the person's probably went down with either heat exhaustion or dehydration. And hopefully they'll be okay. Having covered enough of these rallies, and especially the one on July 13th, whenever you see medics and people running around, it ends up being quite concerning. And it gets just deathly quiet. Nobody's talking. Everybody's waiting for the person to stand up. And I think that's another thing that separates us from the Democrats, is because as soon as this woman or man ends up coming to their feet, everybody's going to cheer for them. And the person who's being attended to probably doesn't want to leave. Just give me some water. I'll be okay. I'm seeing Trump. But, hopefully that's all it is. Hopefully they're not going to bring out a stretcher.
Want to play a song? Do you think the people backstage are listening to me? How about Ave Maria? Well, because is going to be okay. How about putting it in right now, Ave Maria, if they are listening? Ave Maria by Pavarotti.
Oh, he Ave Maria, and he selected the artist as well. Hopefully it's just dehydration, but dehydration can be a big problem as well. It gives you an idea when you see President Trump making these speeches, and he's talking, and he's, giving so much energy, and he's there for an hour or two. What kind of shape he must be in, and he's got a heavy bulletproof vest in as well. So, I guess they don't have the music. They should really quickly download it. I'd have had it up already. Is a person standing up? Oh, it's an older lady. She's actually on her feet. She's on her feet. She seems alert. It's probably dehydration. Get her a chair so she didn't have to stand there. Get her some water and a chair. I also love how President Trump tends to them as well.
Take your time, doctor. Take your time. She looks great. She looks great.
Is that Dr. Oz? Did Dr. Oz jump back there? I think that's Dr. Oz with her. I'm almost sure that's Dr. Oz. The gray-haired guy, he's administering something to her. Maybe it's water, but he's taking her pulse. Yeah, that's Dr. Oz for sure, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's Dr. Oz. All right, so they're going to walk her out. Yeah, that looks like Dr. Oz to me. All right, here we go.
It's Dr. Oz. Can you believe it?
I called
Dr. Oz. Wow. He's a good doctor. Thank you, Oz. Thank you, everybody. Great job. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. We're talking about Gavin Newsom. Doesn't seem like a very good subject right now. It made that young lady not feel so good. Anyway, he admitted he has mental problems, that he's not a smart person, that he has a mental lack of ability. He's unable to read a speech. He can't read. And all of the other things he said he has a lot of mental problems. And I was attacked by a reporter that said, well, what's wrong with that? I said, nothing's wrong with it. But I don't want the President of the United States to have a cognitive deficiency. Okay. Right? And when he admitted this, I said, I think he just lost the Democrat nomination. What do I know? But you know what? I'm for everybody. But you know, when it comes to president, you got to be sharp. You got to be sharp as hell. One of the greatest victories we have achieved for hardworking Americans with the help of our great Republican majorities in Congress is no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and as I told you before, no tax on overtime, which affects you. 800,000 Kentucky seniors. And every Democrat voted against it. So remember, and they'll terminate it. If they take power, they'll terminate it. 800,000 Kentucky. So you have, think of that. You have no tax on Social Security. 800,000 seniors, and they will end it. We got to win the midterms. We also made interest on auto loans tax deductible. First time that's ever happened, but I did put a little proviso. The car has to be made in America for you to get it. Our tax cuts are projected to raise incomes in the Commonwealth by $5,400, boost household take-home pay for you by nearly $10,000, and protect more than 84,000 Kentucky jobs at a minimum. And some of the jobs we're creating or protecting are right here at Verse Logistics. So let me call up your outstanding CEO, Paul. Come on up real fast, Paul. Come on. Paul Verse. Come on up here, Paul. Let's go. Do it fast, Paul. They don't want to hear from you.
I wish I could have gone before him, Mr. President. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for allowing me an opportunity to share our experiences, how your economic policies and the one big, beautiful bill have positively impacted our employees, company, and family. As mentioned in your earlier comments, the no tax on overtime will greatly benefit our employees, producing an average of $1,400 additional take-home pay per year per person. With this amazing benefit, the savings they will realize can be used to take a family vacation, provide further education for their children, pay bills, or make a down payment on a house or car. Our family and companies have a mission of giving back to our communities. The savings from the lower tax rates and permanently full expensing of equipment will allow us to invest back in our local communities of supporting nonprofit organizations and providing educational scholarship money for students attending local high schools and colleges. Many of our Verse family owners and members who are with us today understands how vital the extension of the estate tax credit exemption is for the continuity and succession planning of our great family business. Our sweat and equity are tied to this building, many others, and our business. Without this extension, it is possible our thriving business would one day need to be sold to pay family estate taxes. President Trump, this is all possible because of your vision to make America great again. On behalf of our family, company, and employees, we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Northern Kentucky and the Cincinnati region. You are in the heart of Kentucky, home of bluegrass, faster horses, and the best damn bourbon in the world. You are in Trump country right now. Wrapping this up, if we can just take a pause, and I'm going to say a quick little prayer for President Trump, if I could. May God bless and keep you healthy and safe. And may God bless our beloved United States of America and everything it stands for. Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, Paul. Wow, he did a good job. You think that's easy to do? That's not easy. Oftentimes I'll say to the head of a company, please come up and say, no, I don't want to do it. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for the prayer. Also with us today is Sammy Biddle, who works at the restaurant and bar in nearby Newport, Kentucky. Sammy makes over half of her income through tips. And now, thanks to the no tax on tips, her tax liability has been slashed by more than 50%. The average filer's tax refund this year has soared to nearly $4,000. You're saving $4,000, and Sammy's receiving even more, over $5,000. So Sammy's going to make over $5,000 more than anticipated, all because of the great, big, beautiful bill that the Republicans got passed, but with not one Democrat vote. They want to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes. So, Sammy, come on up for a second and say hello, Sammy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Sammy Biddle, and I am a general manager and bartender at a local distillery in Newport, Kentucky called Pensive Distilling. And like most servers and bartenders, a big portion of my annual salary comes from working double shifts and tips. A big dream of mine has always been to save up enough money to buy a nice piece of land and eventually build a home on that land. And this year, due to our president's no taxes on tips and overtime policy, I got more year-end taxes back than I ever have, which has helped me get that much closer to my American dream. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's pretty good, right? Thank you, Sammy. So millions and millions of Kentucky families have more money in their pockets thanks to what we did with respect to tax cuts. And I just described what every single Democrat in Congress voted against it. Every single one, not one voted for it. They want tax increases, along with just one Republican voted against. You know what the name is? He is the worst person. His name is, what the hell? How did he ever end up in Kentucky? His name is Thomas Massie. How did he ever end up here, Paul? Anyway, no, Massie voted against tax cuts for seniors. He voted against tax cuts for overtime workers. And he voted against tax cuts for earners, tip earners. No, he wanted to increase the taxes. He voted with the Democrats. He voted against our historic funding for border security. He voted against border security, where we took the worst border in the history of our country, made it the best border in the history of our country in 2.5 months. He voted against it. And he voted against eligibility verification for welfare recipients. Nobody has to be eligible. Just pick up whatever you want. The people in this room don't like that. Thomas Massie also voted with the radical left Democrats in Congress to keep the federal government shut down during the open border crusade while our military went without pay. He voted for our military not to get that pay. And now Massie, he's the worst. And I don't say that. I never hit a guy like this. The guy's the most. We call him Rand Paul Jr. He votes against everything. But at least I like Rand a little bit. Can't love a guy that votes. I got him elected twice. If I didn't endorse him, he was not going to get elected. Do you remember that? I came and I did a little rally, and Rand votes against us all the time too, but at least he's okay. I wouldn't say the greatest. And now Thomas Massie is attacking a great Navy SEAL hero. This is a real hero, Ed Galrine, who's running against him in the primary. You know why? Because he's not doing right for our president. He didn't want to run for office. He's a hero. He's a farmer hero. He's a tremendous war hero, but he's a farmer right here. He's like central casting. I said, this is the guy I'm looking. I wanted to just give me somebody with a warm body to beat Massie. And I got somebody with a warm body, but a big, beautiful brain and a great patriot. He's unbelievable. And he did it because he said he's disrespecting our country. He votes against everything. And Ed became an independent a few years ago because he was so angry at the way the Republican Party was operating. And I don't disagree with him. Other people did too. But then Ed came back, and he came back strong because I got involved. And he came back stronger than he ever was. And now he's all the way, he's in this party and he's in it. And he said, I came back because of the strength and wisdom that Donald Trump displayed. And I appreciate that. That's a nice, I think I'm going to use him in an ad. I think I'll use that statement. I'm going to use that statement in an ad. Strength and wisdom. I put wisdom in quotes because I didn't say it, he did. But many people have joined and rejoined our party, but Massey did not because he only votes no. He just votes no. Doesn't matter. I could give him the best things in the history of a Republican voter, and he'd vote no. There's something wrong with him. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the Save America Act, which is very simply, I think he has to vote for it, but he's a nut job, so you never know. All voters must show voter ID. 98%. That's 98%. All voters must show a little thing called proof of citizenship in order to vote. Right? Right, Paul? Paul agrees. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. You're away. You can't get there. We'll be generous. And then I added two things. We call them best of. You know what they are? Best of Trump. These are the best of. No men in women's sports. 99%. That's 99. And no transgender mutilization surgery for our children. That's it. That's it. And I think we're going to get it approved in the House. And I hear the Senate has a hard time. How can you have a hard time with that? How can you have a hard time? But Massey wants to vote no, but on this one he may be forced. I mean, how can you do it? So I just want to say this. Thomas Massey is a disaster for our party. He comes from a state that I won by a landslide, got the highest vote in the history of your Commonwealth. The highest vote. I got the highest vote. That means that people like me, and I love them. I love them. I love them more than they love me, but I still got the highest. Remember with your mother, I love you more than you love me. We revert back to childhood. But Massey's a complete and total disaster as a congressman and, frankly, as a human being. You know, he's got one thing going. He went to a good college. But I know a lot of stupid people that went to a good college. And my uncle was the longest-serving professor in the history of that particular college, university, MIT. 41 years. My uncle was there 41 years, so that means I have much better blood if you go by that. But I went to the hardest college of all to get into, the Wharton School of Finance. That means I'm real smart. We got to get rid of this loser. This guy is bad. He's disloyal to the Republican Party. He's disloyal to the people of Kentucky. And most importantly, he is disloyal to the United States of America. And he's got to be voted out of office as soon as possible. On the other hand, Ed Galron has my complete and total endorsement. He's a true American hero, and he's a great patriot. And he's doing it because he saw what this guy was doing to our country, and he said, I'm going to run. He's now a farmer, successful farmer. And I can tell you, he's strong as hell. He shook my hand. My hand is still recovering. Sir, I'd like to shake your hand. Absolutely. Holy mackerel. I didn't tell him that, you know. I'm telling him now officially. Ed, would you come up for a minute, please?
Mr. President, welcome to Kentucky and thanks for coming to the heartland. Because you are loved and admired here for your courageous leadership of our great nation at such a critical time in history. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. This is the land of we the people, right here. I want to thank you for your endorsement, because once you did that, my support skyrocketed. So I look forward to serving the people as their representative of Kentucky District 4. Because as you folks know, you deserve an authentic, true Republican conservative that stands shoulder to shoulder with our president and the Republican Party and against the Democrats who are trying to destroy our nation. USA, USA, USA. So, Mr. President, I will stand with you and the party to put America first and Kentucky always. Mr. President, I hope the fake news gets this. Tom Massey stands with the ladies of The View. Tom Massey stands with the ladies of The View. Mr. President, we stand with you. Fight, fight, fight! USA! USA!
I'm telling you, that is the greatest candidate. You know, I've done this before, not quite as violently and miserably as this one, but I just can't stand this guy. But I've had some candidates that weren't great. They'd get up, they wouldn't talk well. And I'm trying to beat like an incumbent bad congressman, senator, somebody. I do it all the time. If somebody's bad, I try and get him out of office. I should just leave it alone. My life would be a lot easier. But I have usually candidates that don't have what it takes. This guy is unbelievable. He is central casting. Just elect him. You're going to have no problems with him. Thank you. Ed, thank you. Unbelievable. That's great. He's a good man. With us today are some of the amazing warriors who, unlike Massey, stood up for the working people of this Commonwealth, this great group of people, the people that built the nation, including a wonderful man who's been with me all the way, Congressman Andy Barr. All the way. He's a good guy and a warrior. Also with us is a senator who came from really behind. He really didn't have a good chance of winning. The guy was a longtime senator, Democrat, he's terrible. He's running again, he's terrible. He was a terrible radical left lunatic. But Bernie Moreno did some job on him, and he won the race, and it was amazing. And thanks as well to CMS Administrator. You just saw him working. Dr. Mehmet Oz. He was just working. Thank you, Dr. Oz. Director of the Center for Medicare, who's an incredible guy, helped us so much with the reduction in drug prices that you got, the biggest reduction in history. Chris Klump. Your state attorney general, Russell Coleman. Russell, thank you. Thank you, Russell. Good job. A wonderful Secretary of State. We have a good one in Washington, too. Marco. Do we like Marco? I think so. Your Secretary of State, Michael Adams. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. State Auditor, Allison Ball. Thank you. These are great people, and I've gotten to know them over the years. They're just incredible people. State Treasurer, Mark Metcalf. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Great job. Your former Kentucky Attorney General, Daniel Cameron. Daniel, thank you. Thank you, Daniel. And Chairman and CEO of Morris Industries, a good man, Nate Morris. Nate, thank you. Now, also with us is a local legend who did quite well suing the Washington Post and various and sundry others. Where's Nick Sandman? Where's Nick? Come here, come on. Hurry up, Nick. He's a young guy, he can get up here fast. Guy walked away with a lot of money. They did a number on him. He said, we're not going to take it anymore. I love these guys. Nick, wow. Become a big celebrity, too. Nick, say a couple of words, Nick. We love Nick.
Well, thank you. And as I just said, really, the only thing I can say is, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you, and thank you to all of you, because it's us together which can beat the radical left. So thank you. We will always stand with you.
I watched that whole thing unfold, Nick, and I said, that guy is getting scammed. And you know what? He scammed them, because what he did was pretty amazing. Him and his group of friends. He had good, loyal friends, Nick, and that's great. I loved it. I loved watching what he did. And another one this guy is a piece of work. He a very tough cookie. But instead of fighting like a guy his own size, he fights a guy who's like 70 pounds bigger, he's like a two-time Olympian champion. He's this massive guy. And my friend is a guy named Jake Paul. And I said, and I'm watching, I didn't realize there was a slight size variance, like about 7 inches and about 70 pounds. This guy fought like, I tell you what, he is courageous. He's an incredible guy. He's got a brand new, beautiful fiance, and you're not allowed to use the word beautiful when describing women anymore. It's the end of your political career, but I'll say it anyway. What the hell? She's beautiful. She just won the Olympic gold medal. Where's she? Where's Utah? Gold medalist. Boy, I tell you, she's strong. That means she's strong. You better be careful. She's a beautiful person, and she's a big, strong athlete. I watched her win that gold, and they have an expression, if that were a fight, they'd stop it, right? She's great. But Jake Paul is a great guy, and, you know, part of the deal is he said, do you mind if I do an interview with you? I said, Jake, I'm the president of the United States. I don't do interviews. Look at Joe Biden. He went 2.5 years without doing an interview because he was shot. But he was shot 30 years ago, too. He was no good. But I said, Jake, I'm president. How can I do your local podcast? But his local podcast is big stuff. And he's big stuff. Jake, you got to come up. Come here. Come on. You got to come. This guy has guts. And he walked out with a broken jaw. Anyway, this was not the greatest fight. But you know what it showed? Lots of courage. Come here, Jake. Say a few words. These are your people.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. You know, we never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here, and my dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth. And I know you guys aren't. We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to be the one to bring that here to us. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history, and everyone here has to do their part, and God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
No, he's a great guy. He's a courageous guy and a talented guy. He's a hell of a fighter, too, by the way. And I just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not too distant future, running for political office. Okay? And you have my complete and total endorsement, okay? No, that's what we want. He's an incredible guy. A lot of courage and smarts. So in 4 long years, Joe Biden and the radical Democrats in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country, driving up prices all across the board. They left us a mess. In 12 months, my administration's driven down core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months, inflation was less than 1.7%. Under our policies, prices for chicken, eggs, cheese, butter, potatoes, and fresh fruit are lower today by a lot than when I took office. Hotel rates, automobile prices, and rent payments are way down as well. As a result of my direction to purchase $200 billion in mortgage bonds, a risky move, perhaps, but not for me. Mortgage rates are now the lowest in more than 5 years, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000. And to help our great citizens afford their American dream, I recently signed an executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up single-family homes. Under my most favored nation agreements for drug prices, we're also slashing drug prices at record levels, with price differences of 400, 500, 600, and even 700%. Can you believe it? And I got that with the drug companies, and then I had to convince foreign nations that it's not fair, and I used the word tariff, the beautiful word. I always said one of my most favorite, most beautiful words. I used to say it's my favorite word, most beautiful word, and the fake news killed me. They said, what about your wife? What about God? What about religion? What about your children? I said, okay, it's my 5th favorite word. Now I don't get in trouble. No, they actually went after. I said, it's my favorite word in the dictionary, the word tariff. And they killed me. These guys are the worst. For decades, Americans have paid the highest drug costs in the world, but now, thanks to our policies, Americans are going to be paying the lowest drug prices paid anywhere in the world. And these incredible price reductions are available right now at, and I did not name this. This was done by Dr. Oz and Bobby. Where's Oz? He's back with the patient. See, he stays with the patient. Where's Oz? Oz, is it true that I did not name this after myself? Okay, thank you. If he said no, he'd be out of here. No, he's done a great job. And is she okay, Oz? Good. Thank you. Great. Great job. She's okay. So it's available right now, these really low prices, TrumpRx.gov. TrumpRx, and people are using it in record numbers. He named it, I didn't name it. I'm not sure I want my name on drug. Well, drug reduction is probably good, right? If prices ever go up, I'm going to say, get my name off there. But they're not going to go up. They're only going to go down. Other presidents tried to do it, but all they did was talk. It was all talk, no action. I got it done. I got it done for you. Got it done for Kentucky. But it's doing record-type business, right? Biggest price reduction. I think it's one of the biggest things to happen in medicine because the prices are just a tiny fraction of what they were. So Trump RX is a major step toward a larger goal of reducing the cost of health care for hardworking Americans since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act. You know what that is? I love the name. The Unaffordable Care Act. Oh, do the Democrats hate me? I wonder who hates me more, stupid Tom Massey or the Democrats? I think it's close. Well, they have Trump derangement syndrome. If we won that war, which we have basically done, if we won that war in one day, he should have done it faster. It's unacceptable. And by the way, if I didn't go in, now they like to complain. It's hard for them to complain. With that military is so incredible. But they like to complain. So let's assume I didn't go in. I was like every other president. Oh no, let them kill people. Let them get an atomic weapon. Let them get a nuclear weapon that can destroy the world. So let's assume I didn't go in. They'd say, he should be going in. These are the worst people. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, named after Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Big insurance companies have gotten rich with our government giving them hundreds of billions of dollars as their stock prices soared up to 1,700%. Under my plan, I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give the money directly to the people so that they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a lower cost, Dr. Oz. Okay? Billions, trillions of dollars a year, literally trillions, go to insurance companies and you get rotten health care. Obamacare is a loser. It was meant for the insurance companies, and the insurance companies totally control the Democrats, not the Republicans. Just over 1 year ago, we inherited a mess, a floundering economy, wide open borders, the worst inflation ever, crime, chaos everywhere. Today, just a short time later, look, we've been there for 1 year. We have the most secure border in U.S. history. The flow of fentanyl across our border is down by 59%. We get it better. The murder rate just saw its single largest drop ever recorded, the lowest in 125 years, before my father, Fred, was born. Before he was born. And that's despite the fact that we have a lot of people that shouldn't have been allowed in here that are murderers. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising. The economy is roaring back. And America is respected again, perhaps respected like never before. Every single day of my administration, with the help of the great people of Kentucky, yeah, I love Kentucky. We will keep on working, and we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. And together, we will make America powerful again, front row Joe. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again, strong. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Kentucky. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Elvis has left the building. If we took off for the injury when the woman got sick, which probably took about 15 or 20 minutes, he talked every bit of 90 minutes or so today. So I just love the rallies. It's like just bringing us back to where we were. I know he loves them. It's like getting a shot of adrenaline, and he absolutely loves that stuff. Love it. Love it. By the way, did you see somebody looked worried? No. No, he didn't look worried at all. Looked very, very confident. All right, I got a couple of things to show you before we get out of here because I got to get ready for Alpha Warrior tonight. Let me go ahead and show you this because I put up a little a little preview of it. Iran has agreed to end the war. I think they must have called some DEI people or Black Lives Matter, because here's what they're saying here. I've been in contact with the president. Oh, before that, who is this guy? Mashoud Pazakian. I don't speak insanity, so I don't have any idea what the hell that says. All right, so in contact with the presidents of governments of Russia and Pakistan while announcing the Islamic Republic's commitment to peace and tranquility in the region. When have they ever had a commitment for peace and tranquility? I don't think they've ever had any sort of commitment to peace and tranquility. But nonetheless, I emphasize that the only way to end the war that began with the warmongering of the Zionist regime and America is A, acceptance of Iran's indisputable rights. Rights to what? B, payment of reparations. Go F yourself. Reparations. And C, a firm international obligation to prevent their aggressions from ever recurring. So yeah, I guess y'all still want to get some. You're putting out demands that you can't substantiate. No, I can't speak for President Trump, but I can speak for probably what he's going to say. Wait, remember the movie Tropic Thunder? Go F yourself. Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do right about now. We don't negotiate with terrorists. Get out of here. So now, in closing, I want to show you something, and I want you to remember what I said earlier about Trump using the Insurrection Act or some other way to protect America. You know, because there's no guards in the Coast Guard. You can't guard the coast. There's no Homeland Security. There's nobody enforcing security in the homeland. TSA is falling apart. And I said to you, isn't that an emergency? Wouldn't most people consider that an emergency? Well, here's a little first indication of something to come. Let's go to this post. Trump to invoke, an emergency law. Trump to invoke emergency law for California oil producer Sable, Bloomberg News reports. Oh, so there are laws that the president can use when he, deems something an emergency. Interesting. Interesting that they would say that. Let me see if I can find some additional information here on the books. Anything happening here? Maybe from Bloomberg or somebody, because I know they got to be freaking out at this point. Here's another one. Just in, Trump is preparing to invoke emergency law to pave way for renewed oil production off Southern California coast. I'm sure Gavin Newsom's going to be happy about that. Here's another one. What's this way? I'm looking for if they want to say what the law. Oh, here's the law. And it says, Reuters is reporting that Trump will use the Defense Production Act so Sable can restart oil productions. So he's beginning to use emergency powers. Just keep that in mind. So he's going to restart drilling or some sort of defense production, trying to get some more oil, and he's calling it an emergency. Meanwhile, you got TSA people not showing up for work, quitting. You got no one guarding the coast. Homeland Security's not funded. I think there's quite a few emergencies that might, be pressing. And of course, the Save America Act. So we shall see. We shall see what those turn out to be, because it's starting. It's absolutely starting. Yeah, the New York Post, I saw that where they said they're going to try and hit Cali. You'd think you'd want some, I don't know, Coast Guard out there? Yeah, yeah. So somebody goes, that's his first invocation right there. Yep. All right, so I'm going to have to do a shorter after party today because I got to get home and then I got to go jump in the pool because it's hot in here. And then I've got an interview with Alpha Warrior tonight, and I hope you guys tune in for it. We're going to go with a 15-minute after party, but make me first do super chats here before I go anywhere. If there's anything in here I need to acknowledge. And let's go ahead and do this. Okay, here we go. Man, I love the rallies. I mean, I really do find them energetic and entertaining. All right, so move the window over, Barry. There we go. Marion, you are inspiring. I've passed the Tennessee State real estate test and I'm getting my real estate license. I've sent you an email today. Did you get it? No, I haven't checked emails, but congratulations, taking that step into prosperity. Penny McCorder. Barry, won't they lose seats in blue states when people start leaving, like California, New York? Yeah, if they don't rig it. The other thing they want to cover up is their voters' rolls. They refuse to clean them and to surrender them. Yeah, I didn't have time to cover that today, but that I'll get to that tomorrow. Demon of Cybertron. Hey, haven't heard from you lately. Trump needs to propose a bill to the House and Senate to exempt DHS from getting affected in a shutdown. It will be popular with the voters. Yeah, but they still won't vote on it. Crazy. Big Cat, as always, Barry, thanks for the rally coverage. Thank you. And Buddy Sanders, why do Kentuckians keep voting for rhinos? I don't know. Mitch McConnell must have a big machine there. Nikki, he's going in hard on Massey. I don't think Trump tore up Pelosi or Kamala this bad. Yeah, Massey's done. Just a matter of time. He's done. Bielka, have you heard that some Trump cabinet members were moved to housing on military base? Yes, and I was able to confirm that. There's a number of people from the Trump administration, Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi, a few other who have been moved into military installations for protection. That is an actual true story. Nikki, how bad do you think Massey just pooped himself? Probably pretty bad. Probably pretty bad. And Cutting Edge, they will never stop 1,400 years of nonstop crazy. Talking about the Iranians. They act more like an extremist political movement. Religion of peace, my butt. You are completely correct. Reparations. Are you serious? Are you seriously asking the President of the United States we need to make reparations to Iran? You couldn't afford the reparations for October 7th. The reparations, you need to be eliminated, but don't get me started. So I'll see you guys around 8. I mean, I got to get going in a hurry here. Thanks for tuning in.